Welcome back to my channel. I'm JD, and today I want to talk about 5 tips that help me write consistently. In case you haven't been following along with my previous videos, I kind of have a lot going on in my life right now between chronic illness, writing multiple different projects, brain fog, having one kid in school, 40 minutes away from our house. That's a commute I have to do each day. There's doctor's appointments and therapy appointments and OT and speech and after school activities. They're, normal grocery errands and going to the bank. There's tons of all these different moving parts to my life that I have to stay on top of. And a lot of times those priorities outrank my writing. I can't just leave my kid at school. I have a lot of these hard and fast priorities that outrank my writing, and it can make writing very difficult and hard to stay consistent with. So what I want to talk about today is some of the systems and tools that I use to stay consistent with my writing, even when I do not have a set schedule in place because of all the craziness that's going on right now. A lot of these tips and tools I've learned throughout the years. A vast majority of them come from participating in challenges like National Novel Writing Month. They've really helped me stay on track and be able to work on so many different projects at once. My first tool in my toolbox, the first tip I have, is to schedule your writing time. During my Sunday reset every week, I review my week before, my previous week, figure out what tasks didn't get done, what things I need to do this week, and then I schedule it all into my Google Calendar. Once I have my main appointments done, scheduled, and all those tasks, I then look for those free chunks of time that I can then use for writing. And sometimes I have 2 to 3 hours before picking up the kids from school, 45 minutes while the kids are in a martial arts class, and I kind of piece together when I want to write. When I have figured out when I want to write, I will schedule it as an appointment on my calendar, not only when I'm writing, but what exactly I am working on. It doesn't do any good to get to that writing session and then spend the whole session figuring out what I'm working on. Say I have a 2-hour session Tuesday morning from 9 to 11. I mark it off on my calendar as an event. I set up a notification so it notifies me when it's time to write. I figure out right then when I'm going to write. So Tuesday morning, I'm going to write a blog post for Medium, and it's going to have this subject. And then so that way I've figured out what I'm writing, when I'm writing, and a lot of times I already know whether or not I'm going to be either out of the house, or so I'm writing like at a cafe or in the back of my car, or if I'm at home writing here in my office. Make it accessible. So sometimes these writing sessions come up spontaneously. If I'm stuck for 30 minutes in the carpool line, or I suddenly have 5 minutes while I'm waiting in the grocery line, I want to have my writing accessible. So that way I can easily jot down any ideas or get in a few sentences whenever I might have a free moment. So like keeping a writing notebook on you. This is a Lettrum 1917 that I have in my nice jelly protective cover, and I will take it out and write sometimes. I really like writing in these nice, I think these are dot grid notebooks. I really like writing in these. So sometimes I'll just carry this with me, and whenever I have a free moment, I will jot down a couple sentences of a scene that I'm currently working on. Or if I know I'm going to be out of the house, but I'm not sure if I'm going to have time to write, I will often take my iPad. My iPad has a keyboard. I can access most of my writing documents through it. And if I can't, I can just open up a new Google Doc and just write. If I know for sure that I'm going to have a place to sit down and write, I will take my laptop or even something like my Alpha Smart Neo. Basically, I'm just looking for easy ways to keep my writing close at hand. Google Docs through my phone, Google Docs on the iPad, having an Alpha Smart Neo, having a notebook and pen on me, just having that access. If you have your writing close at hand, it's more likely that you'll be able to then remember to sit down and write whenever you have a free moment. My next writing tip for staying consistent with your writing is productivity dates. These are fun. I like these. One of my favorite ADHD hacks is body doubling, and that basically means completing a task in the presence of another person. So I did these with Nano because a write-in is basically body doubling. You are completing a task with another person, and it keeps you on track. It keeps you motivated to get the work done. So creating these productivity dates really help. Set up write-ins, productivity dates with your fellow writers. I have a couple of these on my calendar each week. It's as easy as meeting up with a friend at a coffee shop or on a Zoom call and getting your work done. What I normally do is I usually meet up with my friends. We take a few minutes to sit and chat, get our drinks, catch up for a few minutes, and then we set a timer. We work until the timer goes off on our own respective tasks, and when the timer goes off, we kind of check in with each other, see how much we did, refill our coffees, set the timer again, have another little chit chat, set the timer again, and go again. And we will do this for 2-3 hours with sprints of 20-25 minutes, 5 to 10 minute breaks in between. And by the end of the session, we've usually gotten quite a bit done and things checked off our to-do lists. I find these really, really motivating and handy to do, and they really help my word counts. If you don't know any other writer friends, you can easily look up writing sprints here on YouTube or write-ins. A lot of the YouTube writers community here have online writing events. I think they're usually live, and then you can rewatch them later on and kind of follow along with the sprints if you want to try it without meeting up with any other writers. There's also a site called FocusMate where you can sign up and you can schedule your times. I think they're usually about an hour though. This is the downside of FocusMate, is that there aren't set, you can't change the times on it. I think the sessions are about 45 minutes, 50 minutes, and you basically sign up and you click on the calendar. You can either join someone who's already scheduled a session or schedule your own and get paired, but basically you're one-on-one on a Zoom, on a video call, conference call with some other person in the world who is trying to get things done. The next writing consistency tip I have is to join a challenge or get your words out, or even some on like Medium where they're doing 30 articles in 30 days. There's a ton of different writing challenges out there. Find one, join it. You get this sense of community, and there's usually lots of different people all striving for that same goal, which gives you a little spark of motivation to then try to implement these other tactics to stay writing consistently. My last tip is creating outlines. Now this is probably not going to sit well with the pantsers out there, but even if you're just writing 1 or 2 words as to what you want to write, they can be really helpful. A lot of times when I finally sit down to write, let's say I have a 2-hour session to draft some blog posts for Medium, but it's the end of the day, I'm waiting on the kids to come out of their martial arts class. I'm super tired. I don't want to think. My brain is just really fighting me on getting my work done. That is when I kind of pull out the outline method for these blog posts. I will sit down, I will say, okay, what's the subject? Great. I write that at the top of the page. What are the 3 to 5 points I want to make on this subject? And I write those down. And then, okay, well, what do I want to say as an intro? Write that down. And I try to tweak it a little bit, but really I'm just writing down what comes to mind first, getting those points on the page, what I want for it. Then say my next writing session, it's 9:30 on a morning, I've got 2 hours. I'm like, great, I can finish these posts. So I can pull up my outline, and then I can just start filling in the blanks for those posts that I worked on the day before or whatever. Basically, it's working. It's setting myself up so I don't have to constantly stare at a blank page. And it doesn't matter if those outlines completely change, it keeps me going and it keeps me creating. So those were my tips for writing consistently. I'd love to hear from you guys. What tips do you have for staying consistent with your writing? Let me know, drop me a comment below, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace, love, and happy writing, y'all.